What's up, Sen Squad? Welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. So, healing is one of the most overlooked mechanics in Brawl Stars. I'm pretty sure very few people actually know how long it takes for brawlers to start healing and how much they actually heal once it ticks up. Now, that time it actually takes to start healing after you immediately take damage, it's not consistent across the board, and I will make another video specifically talking about that later this week, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. But after you start healing, you gain your health at 1 tick per second, and a tick is usually about 1/8 of your total health bar. So for every brawler, no matter what, if you are at essentially 0 health, it'll take 8 ticks or 8 seconds to completely fill up your health bar back to where it was before. So although it sounds like every brawler is healing the exact same percentage of their full health, it's not the case. There are slight differences in between the brawlers in how fast they're healing in proportion to their total health. So I made a complete ranking of the brawlers in order of how much percentage of their health they're healing back with every tick. So to do this, I obviously needed to get every single brawler's full health. So I made a table, listed out all the brawlers, and beside it got all their health statistics from the game. And then I basically went into the training cave, got hit by the bot a couple of times, and then walked away and started healing and saw exactly how much damage I was healing for each second that passed. And that amount of healing doesn't change, it's always constant, so that at least makes it a bit easier to work with. So then I got that amount for every single brawler, and then I put it in the table. And it turns out, as expected, if you have 2 brawlers that are at the same amount of health, they're going to heal the same amount per tick. But if we want to compare 2 different brawlers to one another and how fast they're healing, we have to represent it as a percentage, because obviously an El Primo with over 8,000 health is going to heal more and heal quicker than someone like a Tick who has just about 3,000 health. So if they're both going to heal up fully over 8 seconds, then El Primo obviously has to gain back health faster. So we want to express this as a percentage of their total health rather than just straight comparing, does this brawler heal more damage than the other brawler. So essentially I just divided the health that you're gaining per tick for all of these brawlers by their total health to get essentially the percentage of your health that you're gaining back with each tick. And now this is where it starts to get interesting. So at first glance, it seemed like all of these numbers were exactly 13% of the brawler's total health. So every second you're healing, every tick gets you an extra 13% of health back. So that checks out. 8 times 13 is going to be 104%. So that makes sense that you need 8 ticks back if you want to get your full health. But if you actually look at more decimal places, they're not exactly at 13%. Some brawlers are exactly at 13, and I will get into those brawlers specifically, but some of them are just below 13%. So I compiled a full table and ranked them based on this percentage, and I sort of made like a heat map. So the top is green, those are the ones with the highest percentage, and the ones at the bottom with the lowest percentage are going to be colored more red. So you can see at the very bottom, even though their percentages are very close to 13%, it is still 0.024% off from being a perfect, gaining 13% back every time you heal. And you might be wondering, does this actually make a difference in game? Does it add up over time? And the answer is maybe. Since each brawler's health is in the thousands, that means 1% of that is going to be in the tens. So anywhere from like 30 to 80 depending on their total health. So that means a 1/10 of a percent is just going to be that divided by 10. So maybe something like 3 to 8 hit points. And then if we just keep going, 100th of a percent of these brawlers' max health is going to be something like 0.3 or 0.8 hit points. So not even a full hit point. But you can see, since we do have a difference of almost 0.03 of a percent between these bottom brawlers like Crow, Spike, and Bee from the top, that means if you get almost a full heal, say 7 ticks of healing, you will actually be short a couple hit points, and you will have healed less of a percentage of your total health than a brawler at the top like Nita or El Primo or Poco. Now just think of, in all the time you've been playing Brawl Stars, how many times has someone been left at anywhere from like 1 to 10 hit points? Now I know it doesn't happen often, but there are certainly cases where I feel really annoyed because I left them with only 2 or 3 health and they managed to make it away alive and heal up. Now this discrepancy might have actually changed that outcome, and they might have been dead in that situation if they had a lower rate of healing, more proportional to these lower brawlers on the chart. So this definitely can have an impact on the game, though there isn't really a great way to play around it. Specifically, this is more just for information purposes and for entertainment, but it is interesting to know that not all of these brawlers have the same same rate of healing. And the reason why this happens is, I guess you could call it a rounding issue. Since these brawlers always heal a whole number amount of hit points, sometimes that whole number isn't exactly 13% of their total health. Because if you divide any number by 13, there's likely going to be a lot of decimal points, and since your health doesn't have any decimal points, that means those decimal points are going to be removed, and every time you keep healing over and over again, those decimal points are going to stack up and add into full hit points like we were just talking about. Now, those brawlers at the top, it makes sense why their percentages are exactly 13, because their full health is divisible by 100. So that just means 1% of their health is going to be a whole number, since you just chop off those 2 zeros at the end, and that's 1% of their total health. So 13% is just 13 times that whole number, which is also going to be a whole number. So no decimal points there, and that's why it's exactly 13%. Now, Supercell could actually do something to make the discrepancies between this healing slightly less and not have every single healing percentage below 13%. You might notice that none of them are above 13%, and you would think that maybe half of them would be above 13% and maybe half of them would be below 13% by just a slight amount. But actually, they made a strict cutoff point at 13. So they always made sure that the percentage was lower than 13 no matter what, even if it would be closer to 13% by being above. So if Supercell did change that and maybe it just added on a single hit point to the amount that these lower brawlers are healing and pushed their percentage to just above 13%, it would lower the overall variance between brawlers for this stat. But that's going to basically be it. I hope you found this interesting. Essentially, they're pretty similar, but there are slight differences in between all of these brawlers. And like I said, I am going to go more into how long it actually takes for you to start healing, which is something you can actually play around and something you can factor and improve upon in your gameplay. So make sure to subscribe for that if you want to see it. But that's all for today, guys. So see you later.